The wrong number. The text message sat in Marcus Chen's inbox like a ticking bomb. Can you pick up Emma from daycare? Running late at the cafe. She's been asking for her daddy all day. Love you? Marcus stared at his phone, sitting behind his mahogany desk on the 42nd floor of Chen Industries. He was the CEO of a Fortune 500 tech company. He didn't have a daughter named Emma, and he definitely didn't have anyone who loved him enough to send messages like that. Someone had texted the wrong number. The logical thing would be to reply with a quick, wrong number and move on. Marcus had 17 meetings that day, a board presentation at 3, and a conference call with Tokyo at midnight. He didn't have time for other people's problems. His finger hovered over the keyboard. Then he noticed the timestamp. The message had been sent 40 minutes ago. Whoever this Emma was, she'd been waiting a long time. Marcus typed, I think you have the wrong number, but you might want to call Emma's actual dad. It's been a while. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing. Thank you for letting me know. Marcus should have left it there. But something made him add, no problem. Hope Emma gets picked up soon. He set his phone down and tried to refocus on the quarterly reports in front of him. The numbers blurred together. He kept thinking about a little girl waiting at daycare, watching the door for a father who didn't know she was there. His phone buzzed again. I'm really sorry to bother you again, but I can't reach my husband. His phone goes straight to voicemail. I'm stuck at work for another hour. Boss won't let me leave during the lunch rush. Emma's daycare closes in 20 minutes and they charge $1 per minute after that. Money's tight right now. I don't know what to do. Again, so sorry for dumping this on a stranger. Marcus read the message 3 times. He thought about his own childhood, being the last kid picked up from after-school care, watching the teachers get increasingly annoyed. He'd been 7 the day his parents forgot him entirely, too absorbed in a business dinner to remember their son. He looked at his Rolex, 2:47 p.m. His 3 o'clock could be pushed. What's the name of the daycare? He typed. A pause. Then, Sunshine Academy on Maple Street. But why? Which one is Emma? Another long pause. I can't ask you to do this. You're a complete stranger. I'm a stranger who happens to be free for the next hour. Which one is Emma? She's 4. Brown hair and pigtails. Wearing a yellow dress with butterflies. She'll be the one in the reading corner. She lives in her books. But seriously, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. I'll stay with her until you or your husband can get there. What's your name? Sarah Martinez. And you're either the kindest person in the world or a serial killer. I'm choosing to believe the first one. Marcus smiled despite himself. Marcus Chen, definitely not a serial killer. On my way now. He grabbed his keys, told his assistant to reschedule his afternoon, and walked out of his office for the first time in 3 months without his laptop. Sunshine Academy was in a part of town Marcus never visited, the kind where windows had bars and buildings, had character instead of polish. He pulled his Tesla into the small parking lot, feeling ridiculously out of place in his $3,000 suit. The daycare worker at the front desk looked him up and down, with undisguised suspicion. Can I help you? I'm here to pick up Emma Martinez. Her mother Sarah sent me. The woman's hand moved toward the phone. Uh-huh. And you are? A friend of the family. The lie felt awkward in his mouth. Sarah's stuck at work. She should have called ahead. We don't release children to anyone not on the authorized pickup list. Of course they didn't. Marcus had just driven across town without thinking this through. Could you call Sarah? She can authorize it. The woman made the call, her eyes never leaving Marcus. He heard Sarah's frantic voice through the speaker, confirming his description, apologizing profusely. Finally, the daycare worker hung up. She's in the back. Follow me. The reading corner was exactly where Sarah had said it would be. Emma sat cross-legged on a rainbow carpet, a picture book open in her lap, her lips moving silently as she traced the words. She looked up when they approached, and Marcus saw the hope die in her eyes when she realized he wasn't her father. Emma, this is Mr. Chen. He's going to wait with you until your mommy or daddy gets here. Emma's lower lip trembled. Where's my daddy? Marcus crouched down, his expensive suit pants creasing on the carpet. Your daddy got held up at work. But your mom sent me to make sure you're okay. She said you like books. Emma nodded slowly, still uncertain. What are you reading? She held up the book. Where the Wild Things Are. That's a good one. Max makes bad choices, but his mom still loves him. Emma's face brightened slightly. You know the story? It's one of my favorites. Mind if I sit with you? For the next hour. Marcus Chen, CEO, board member, The man Forbes called the most driven executive under 40 sat on a daycare, carpet reading children's books with a 4-year-old girl. Emma slowly warmed up to him, her initial wariness melting into animated discussions about monsters and dragons and whether green beans were actually tiny trees. He learned that her favorite color was purple. She wanted to be a veterinarian when she grew up, and her baby brother had just learned to smile. She told him about her dad, who worked construction and sometimes had to stay late on jobs. She said it matter-of-factly, without complaint, the way children do when they're used to adapting. At 4:15, a man in dusty work clothes burst through the door, his face panicked. "Emma! Daddy!" Emma launched herself into his arms. The man, Miguel, Marcus would learn, looked at Marcus with confusion and gratitude. "You're the guy? Sarah texted me. I can't believe, my phone died on the job site. I came as soon as I got the message." His voice cracked. "Thank you. I don't know how to thank you." Marcus stood, brushing off his pants. "No thanks needed." Emma's great company. Sarah arrived 10 minutes later, still in her cafe uniform, mascara smudged from crying. She hugged Marcus before he could protest. "You're an angel. A literal angel. I've been terrified all afternoon. We could never afford a babysitter on short notice. And the late fees." She stopped, overwhelmed. "It was nothing," Marcus said, though his heart felt strangely full. "Let us buy you dinner at least. Or, I don't know, do you need your car washed? Miguel does great work." Marcus smiled. "Really, I'm fine. I should get back to the office." But as he walked to his car, Emma ran after him. "Mr. Chen, you forgot this." She held up his phone, which he'd set down while reading. He took it, kneeling to her level. "Thank you, Emma. Keep reading those books, okay?" She threw her small arms around his neck. "Will you come read with me again?" Something in Marcus's chest cracked open. "Maybe I will." Marcus meant to forget about it. He'd done his good deed, helped some people, and that was that. Back to business as usual. But over the next 3 weeks, he found himself thinking about Emma at odd moments. During board meetings, he'd remember her laugh. During conference calls, he'd wonder if she'd finished that dinosaur book. His penthouse apartment felt emptier than usual. Then, at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, his phone rang. Unknown number. "Mr. Chen? This is Sarah Martinez. I'm so sorry to call so late. I know you're probably busy." "Sarah, what's wrong?" Her voice was breaking. "It's Emma. She's at Memorial Hospital. She collapsed at daycare. They're saying it's her appendix. She needs emergency surgery. But our insurance," a sob cut through. "They're saying we need to pay $3,000 up front before they'll schedule it. I've called everyone I know. The cafe won't give me an advance. Miguel's parents don't have anything. I don't know why I'm calling you. You were so kind before, and I'm desperate and I'm on my way. Don't let them do anything until I get there. Mr. Chen, I can't ask you for money." "You're not asking." "I'm telling you. 20 minutes." He was there in 15. The emergency room was harsh fluorescent lights and anxiety. Marcus found Sarah and Miguel in the waiting area, holding each other, Miguel bouncing their infant son mechanically. They both looked like they'd aged years. "She's in pain," Sarah said immediately. "They gave her something, but she keeps crying for us. And they won't let us stay with her because we haven't paid." Marcus walked directly to the registration desk. "Emma Martinez. What does she need?" The nurse looked up tiredly. "And you are?" "I'm handling the payment." "What's the total for the surgery and associated care?" The nurse blinked. "Sir, I need to speak with the family." "I'm the one paying. Give me the number." The surgery, anesthesia, recovery, and overnight stay comes to approximately $12,000 with their insurance coverage. Marcus handed over his credit card without hesitation. "Charge it." "Sir, are you sure?" "Completely sure, and I want her moved to a private room after surgery. Best pediatric surgeon you have. Do it now." Behind him, Sarah made a sound like she'd been punched. "Marcus, no. That's too much. We can't." He turned to face them. Miguel was crying silently, still holding his baby. Sarah looked destroyed. "You can and you will. Emma needs surgery. That's all that matters right now. We'll pay you back," Miguel said hoarsely. "Every penny. I'll work extra jobs. I swear." "No," Marcus's voice was firm. "This isn't a loan. This is what people do for each other." "But we're nothing to you," Sarah whispered. "We're strangers who texted the wrong number." Marcus thought about his empty apartment, his packed schedule, his expensive everything. He thought about Emma's arms around his neck. "You're not strangers anymore." The surgery went perfectly. Marcus stayed in the waiting room until 2 a.m. When the surgeon emerged to say Emma was stable and resting, Sarah and Miguel could barely speak through their tears. Marcus tried to leave then, but Sarah grabbed his hand. Why? Why would you do this for us? He was quiet for a long moment. When I was 7, my parents forgot to pick me up from after-school care. They were having dinner with investors, closed a big deal. They didn't get there until almost 9 p.m. The teacher was furious. I was humiliated, and you know what my father said? These things happen, Marcus. Business comes first. That was the day I learned that work was more important than people. His voice went rough. I built my whole life on that lesson. I became successful, powerful, rich, and I was completely alone. Then a stranger texted me by mistake. And for the first time in decades, I chose a person over business. Emma was more important than my meetings. And it felt, he paused, it felt like remembering how to be human. Sarah hugged him again, and this time he hugged her back. Marcus visited Emma twice while she recovered. The second time, she was sitting up in bed, demanding to know if he'd brought any books. He'd brought 12, but it was 6 months later that his phone rang at an unusual hour again. Marcus, it's Sarah. I need to ask you something. His heart jumped. Is Emma okay? She's perfect. But Miguel and we've been talking. We're having her baptism next month. We don't have many people in our lives, but the ones we have matter. You matter. Would you be Emma's godfather? Marcus sat down slowly on his leather couch. Godfather? I know it's a lot to ask, but you saved her life. You showed up when we needed you. Your family now, whether you like it or not. Family. The word felt foreign and perfect. I'd be honored, he said quietly. The baptism was small, held in a modest church where the pews were worn, but the hearts were full. Marcus stood at the altar in his suit. He'd learned by now that he was always overdressed around the Martinezes, and made promises to be there for Emma. Afterward, at the reception in the church hall, Emma climbed into his lap while he was eating cake. Mr. Chen? You can call me Marcus, you know. Okay, Marcus? Mommy says you're my godfather now. That's right. What does that mean? He thought about it. It means I promise to be there when you need me. To help you. To care about you. She considered this seriously. Like you did when Mommy texted you by mistake? Exactly like that. So it was a good mistake, she said decisively. Marcus smiled, feeling something warm spread through his chest. The best mistake I've ever been part of. Emma hugged him, getting frosting on his tie. He didn't mind at all. That night, Marcus updated his phone's emergency contacts. Sarah and Miguel were now right at the top, above his lawyer and his assistant. In the notes section for Sarah's number, he added, family, wrong number that was right. For the first time in his adult life, Marcus Chen understood that success wasn't measured in quarterly reports or stock prices. It was measured in moments, in reading books with a scared little girl, in showing up when people needed you, in being the person someone could call at 11 p.m. It was measured in love, freely given to strangers who became family. And it had all started with a text message, sent to the wrong number, that turned out to be exactly right. At the end, sometimes the wrong number is actually a call to become the right person.